and a lot of us are doing our own studying in different modalities that help us with MS. And recently on my trip to Nicaragua, my daughter texted me. My daughter's in university, and she texted me a picture of the book Letting Go by David Hawkins. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with that book, but I had never read the book. But me and my colleague that I was with in Nicaragua, we use the frequency scale a lot in our work in yoga. And so she was like, "Oh, tell your daughter to get that book." And then I decided to download it and listen to it because although I was familiar with the overall concept, I had never actually read it. And I've been using that scale a lot in the last 2, 3 weeks in my own life and also in my coaching business when I'm talking with my clients. And through listening to the book, I just had like this really profound awareness of how it also applies in our yoga practice. So just bear with me while I talk a little bit about it. The idea is that, and of course, I highly recommend listen to the book yourself or read the book if you haven't. But the idea is that emotions are on a frequency. So the emotions that we're feeling either are contracted, leading up to courage at 200, or expanded from 200 up to 700. And think of it like a radio station. So we're not necessarily using old school radio stations, but that's the best analogy that I have. So when you're feeling an emotion, you're tuned into a frequency, a channel, a radio station, if you will. And what happens is the universe, God, whoever you want to believe in, will send you back that frequency match. So if you're tuned into the channel, which I have been in my life a lot, tuned into the channel of fear or desire, wanting things, fear and desire, channel 100 and channel 125 here. What happens is when I'm admitting that frequency, like a radio tower or station, my world is sending me back a frequency match, and I'm seeing more opportunities to feel afraid because the world is saying, well, you want to feel afraid because you're sending out that you're emitting that frequency. Well, I'm going to show you places. And actually, Agatha had posted yesterday on her stories. I don't know if any of you follow her on Instagram, but on her stories, it was a woman talking about, and I'm sorry, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but talking about the idea of overly identifying with your autoimmune disease, with MS, and how that also becomes like the channel that you're putting out. So you're putting out this channel of my frequency is MS, and then the world is responding with more opportunities to remind you that you have MS. And I just thought in yoga as well, if you could just notice today when your thoughts come up, because although the idea is to have this beautiful, empty mind when we're practicing, we do have thoughts and stories that creep in. Just see if you can notice what sort of channel they're coming from. Um, and I'm trying personally, really not trying, but I am allowing myself to notice and then move to the channel of neutrality. So that's my work right now that I've been doing for the last month since I got back from my trip, or while I was on my trip as well, is just to like notice that I'm emitting a fear frequency right now. And how can I move it to a neutral feeling? And the book gives a lot of great ways to actually do that. A lot of it comes through just recognizing. So when we recognize something, when we bring awareness to something, that's all it's asking for. It's just asking to be acknowledged, and then poof, we can let it move through us. So in yoga, those self-limiting doubts and beliefs can come up. A self-limiting doubt like my body isn't good enough, or my body can't do this, or this doesn't feel good, could be down in the guilt and shame. I feel guilt and shame over my body and what it's capable of. Apathy, ugh, can't even be bothered. Grief, grieving what maybe your body used to be able to do. And this might be related to MS. It might be related to aging. It might be related to, for me, for years, it was just related to gaining weight and feeling a lot of guilt and grief over my old body. Um, it could bring up anger, desire, and fear. Like I said, I live in desire and fear a lot, in the sense of, and again, not necessarily related to MS, but just I find myself like in the past really noticing places that I didn't fit in and having a desire to fit in those places. So like trying to chameleon myself to fit in places that I didn't belong. And just in recognizing that when I'm emitting that frequency, the world sends me back all sorts of opportunities to affirm, yes, you're right. These are places you don't belong. And so, how do I move out of that channel? And so, really, I mean, I'm inviting you to bring awareness to this in yoga. And I'm also just putting out the invitation that if you haven't explored this body of work, it's been really profound for me in the last few weeks. And I highly recommend just, maybe giving him a listen. I'm sure there's some like YouTube free things that you can listen to. I downloaded the audiobook and I've really enjoyed it. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to move into our yoga practice for the day. I'm going to sit in my chair to get started today. So we won't do a full chair yoga practice, but I was going to start and do some of the practice in the chair this morning. You can sit comfortably on the floor, or if you're in a chair, see if you can sit up as tall as is possible for you today and just think of that expansion through the spine. Again, using that radio station analogy, remember when our car or our stereo in our home used to have that antenna that we would lift up. And so we want to really lift up through the crown of our head, expand up to the sky, and then at the same time, ground down through your sit bones. So just drop your awareness into your sit bones and feel yourself grounding down and then rising up from there. You can close your eyes. I'm going to have my eyes closed a lot. I feel very connected with my body when I close my eyes. Some folks, when they close their eyes, kind of go off into a daydream land. So if you find yourself leaving into daydream land, maybe keep your eyes open and planted on one point. If you find yourself connected when you close your eyes, that can be a nice practice. If possible, rest your feet on the ground or just notice where your feet are as well. So we have these 3 points of awareness right now that we're traveling to as we ground into this moment: our feet, our sit bones, the crown of our head. And just lightly tucking your chin so that your chin draws towards your chest, the back of your head reaches up to the sky. And let's start with just a grounding breath. Deep breath in through the nose. Nice big sigh out through your mouth. We'll do that 3 times. Breathe in. Breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then you can seal your mouth closed. And just begin to breathe through your nose without controlling or changing your breath. Just let your breath come in. Fill your body and let your breath leave. And yoga is about going from the gross to the subtle. So right now, see if we can tune in to the subtle movement that happens as we're breathing. Maybe feeling your rib cage expand, your diaphragm rise and lower, feeling the hair on the inside of your nose moving as your breath moves in and out. And then just start to notice if there's thoughts and stories coming in and out of your mind. Can you allow a space for them and then let them move? Notice that you're thinking something and then allow it to dissolve. Simple things. My cat's distracting me right now, and then I'm going to let that go. And then one more time, scan back through your feet, scan back through your sit bones, scan back to the crown of your head. Now let's start to control our breath a little bit. Let's start to activate that long, smooth, deep breathing, ujjayi breathing if you have it in your practice, and just breathing in through your nose to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, taking a slight pause and breathing out to the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Slight pause. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Inhale, pause, exhale. And now for your next 3 rounds, speed that up or slow it down as much as feels right for you. Let your own body be your guide. Maybe you can breathe into a count of 5 or 10. Maybe you can breathe into a count of 2 comfortably, whatever's comfortable for you. Awesome. We'll start to make some gentle movements now with our breath. Just warming up our head and neck. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Inhale as you come back to neutral. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, head to neutral. Exhale to the right. Inhale to neutral. Exhale to the left. One more time on your own. Maybe pausing in any spots that need a little extra attention. Stay at the left. Now do a semicircle. Head comes forward, rolls over to the right ear. From the right ear, head comes forward, rolls over to the left. Link this with some breathing. Inhale and exhale. Notice if there's been any subtle changes since the first time. For me, oh yeah, my neck was very tight. I feel it loosening up. I feel it becoming more smooth as I move through these gentle stretches. Next time you're on the left, lift your head up to neutral. We'll do the same with our shoulders. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Pull your shoulders back and down. Shoulders up towards your ears. Shoulders back and down. Shoulders towards your ears. Shoulders back and down. Switch directions, draw the shoulders back and up. Shoulders forward and down. And just continue with these shoulder circles, as big or as small as feels good for you right now. Noticing little sticky spots. We get little sticky spots in our connective tissue. Seeing if the mind, the brain, and the body want to cooperate right now. How are those signals traveling? Check in to see if there's any emotion attached to this movement. Awesome. Next time your shoulders are down, leave them. Lift your elbows. This is one of my favorites. We've done this lots. Bend, flex your wrists, open your fingers, interlace your hands. Your wrists go back and forth, your elbows go up and down, and it makes like a figure eight. Bringing some wrist flexibility, some like it's oiling the joints of the wrist here. And switch directions. Good, and then just give your hands a little shake. And then give your forearms a little shake, and then let your whole arms have a little shake. There we go. We're done that. We're going to do a seated sun salutation. And we're going to do 3 rounds of that. And then we're also going to do a standing sun salutation. If you're in the seat, you're going to continue, or if the seat's more comfortable for you today, or for whatever reason that's your preference, that's what works for you. You can stay in the seat for all 6 rounds, or you can do 3 seated and 3 standing. So it's very simple. It's moving with breath. I'll demonstrate 1 and then we'll do 3 together. We inhale from our seat with our hands at our side, reach our arms up to the sky. We exhale to bend forward. We inhale to bring our hands onto our knees and lengthen through our spine, really pushing our heart forward. Yeah, push your chest forward, open through the front of your neck. You exhale to fold forward again. You inhale to rise all the way up, sweep your arms overhead if that's possible for you. And you exhale to release. Here we go. Inhale, stretch to the sky. You can take your feet out wide if that's an option. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands on the knees, lengthen through the chest. Exhale, fold. Just linking movement with breath. Inhale, stretch up to the sky, expand through the body. Exhale, release. Inhale, stretch to the sky. Exhale, fold to the earth. Inhale, lengthen through the chest. Exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, stretch, reach high. Exhale, release. Last time. Inhale, stretch to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift one more time all the way to the sky. And exhale, release. So in this movement, we're opening up a lot of channels and parts of the body through linking movement with breath. So we have the expansion when we inhale, we have the contraction when we fold forward, we get a forward bend. Then we get a heart opener when we lift and open through the chest. That's really good for our back. And then we get another forward fold, squeezing our internal organs, folding forward. And then we get another expansion. And here we're going to do it standing 3 times as well. So option to stay in the chair and keep going there. Option to do it from standing. So you might be familiar with the sun salutation where we go onto the ground and do all of the up dog, down dog. We're not doing that today. Today we're just doing what we just did, only standing. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Spread your toes out nice and wide. Feel really connected with the earth here. And then from here, inhale, stretch your arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Same thing, we're folding forward to the earth. Inhale, hands on the knees, just like we did seated. Lengthen, straighten out your back, lift up through your chest. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch your arms up to the sky. And exhale, release. Inhale, stretch your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch your arms to the sky. And exhale, release. And last time. Inhale, stretch your arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward again. Inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, release. Beautiful. Option to sit right down on your yoga mat or come back to your chair. The next pose we're going to practice is called shooting star. So in this pose, it's a bit of a twist, and I haven't taught it because I have some shoulder stuff going on. And so usually as a yoga teacher, you don't practice the poses you probably need the most because it's hard. it's hard for me to do this, but I think it's actually what my body needs. And I was in physio and they were showing something. I was like, oh, that looks like shooting star in yoga. So I think I'd like to incorporate that into my practice. So here we go. You reach your hand out in front of you. Set your gaze on your thumb. Your thumb is the shooting star. As you breathe in, follow your thumb with your eyes. It's going to come up. It's going to come back behind you. You stop wherever you need to. For me, that's here. That's where my shooting star went to. Some of you, it might go all the way back behind you. And then you come back down on your exhale. So it's a bit of a twist, a bit of a shoulder opener. There's a few things going on. Let's do a couple rounds of that together. Shooting star with the right hand. Inhale. Pause. And exhale. Switch hands, left hand. Inhale. Notice it might feel a bit different on this side. And exhale. We're going to switch each time we come down. Right hand again. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Switching to the left. Inhale. Using the breath to expand. And exhale. Switching to the right. Inhale. Maybe a little more space now. Exhale. Last time, left side. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Give your shoulders a little bit of movement if you need to. Shake that out. Let that go. And the next pose we're going to move into now is child's pose. So option to practice, to visualize, or to make your own adaptation. Take your knees out wide. Bring your forehead down onto the mat. Wherever you are, see if you can get your head heavy on something. Let the head go. And I'm going to keep talking, so I'm looking up, but you can stay in child's pose just for a few breaths here. It's really a nice pose. Again, coming back to that grounding sensation when our head is heavy on something. I've talked about this before. Our brain can let go of some of the thinking and planning that it feels like it needs to do all the time. The rational thinking brain gets a break. All right, and then slowly make your way back up. We'll come onto our hands and knees. And we'll just do a couple of cat cows. So we've done quite a bit for our spine today. Drop your belly, pull your chest forward, and exhale round your spine. I'm going to demonstrate this seated as well. It's just something you would do on the edge of your chair if you can make your way there. Inhale, lifting your chest. Exhale, rounding your back. So it's that rounding and extending movement in um, whatever amount is accessible for you. All right. We're going to do some movements now for our hips. I'm going to come onto the ground here, but you can stay in your chair or whatever works for you. I'm taking my knees bent out in front of me, and we're just doing some light windshield wipers. Some really passive windshield wipers. And for our next pose, let's take our knees pointing straight to the sky. If you're in a chair, you can do this too if you have the ability to move your ankle onto your knee. So this is a bit of a hip opener. It can be done standing or seated. We call it thread the needle here. And then the adjustment is move your foot in closer to your body or further away from your body, depending on your flexibility or what feels right for your body today. Then this right foot, let's let it look for the ground. It's a little fancy here. It looks for the ground, and you come into like a seated twist. So you're just looking back over your shoulder. And unwind and unwind. Couple gentle windshield wipers here. And we'll try the next side. Right ankle up onto the left thigh, or opposite of what you did last time. Set your foot up closer or further away so you feel a bit of a stretch here in that right glute. Send some breath here. And remember, the body stores emotion. So hip openers notoriously bring up some like repressed or stored anger or different feelings that would be around that frequency, like desire, pride could be in there. I was once held in a hip opener, and I remember this so clearly. My teacher had us in a hip opener at teacher training, and I was like, this can't possibly be safe. What does he think he's doing? He's going to ruin our bodies. Like it was bringing up a lot of, and then the next time I was in a yoga class, it was a completely different teacher, but it was a hip opener. And I realized I was having the exact same thought. So I was having a release of some stored emotion. that was like being projected onto the teacher. Okay, let's do the twist. But check to see those emotions that come up, the frequency that we start emitting. And then see if you can let that go. Awesome, gently unwind. And again, if you need to release that a little bit, go for it. Take the bottoms of your feet together now. And we'll do a little butterfly pose. Just get the hips open a little bit. Sit up nice and tall. And from this hip opener, lead forward with your heart. So as you start to lead forward, it's not the head coming down, it's the heart coming forward. Awesome. Slowly come up. And let's make our way onto our back for our last few poses today. So we're going to lay down on our back and we'll start with hugging our knees into our belly. Maybe drawing some circles with your knees. Plant your left foot on the floor. Lift your right leg up to the sky. Push up to the sky through your right foot. Maybe do some ankle rotations if that feels good. Moving in different directions. Knee comes back towards you and gently release right foot onto the earth. Bring your left foot in towards you now, left knee, and straighten that left leg up to the sky. And so we can notice things in our body. And again, like I was sharing, I'm trying to come from more of a neutral place. Noticing them is okay. It's attaching the emotion that we're trying to avoid doing, attaching the contracted emotion. So I noticed that my right foot doesn't, the ankle doesn't spin smoothly like I feel on the left. I can notice that coming from a place of neutrality. It's an observation. If I start to go into a story of how, you know, my right foot is awful and in the future it's probably not going to work as well and and go into all this future-based fear projection, that would be me now emitting more of that fear frequency that I'm trying to stay away from. All right, both feet back on the ground, hands down beside you, gentle hip raises, pressing into your feet. This is bridge pose. Roll your tailbone and your chest, your hips up off the mat. Take a big breath in here and exhale as you come down. Let's do this again. Press into your feet. As you press into your feet, your pelvis tips towards your belly button. Then slowly your pelvis and hips lift off the mat, followed by your low back and your mid back, coming up into bridge, pressing equally into both feet. Inhale, exhale to slowly come down. Again, press into your feet. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, releasing. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release down. Awesome. And we're going to set ourselves up now for our final rest pose, Shavasana. But if there's any pose that you wanted to practice, remember yoga is tuning into our own teacher. I'd like to practice legs and arms up. I want to get some of that natural blood flow back to my core. And then just gently release down and set yourself up for your final rest pose. If you're in a chair and you can take your head and place it on a table in front of you or on your hands, in your hands, that could be great. And then just let your body completely go without holding on to any, yeah, like just scanning your body again. Maybe you can do the crown of the head, the sit bones. Okay. And just staying in this peaceful place that you've created, slowly begin to bring movement to your fingers and toes. Rock your head side to side. If you have space, stretch your arms up over your head to give your body a nice good morning stretch. Bring your knees into your belly. And when you're ready, roll onto one side, curl up in a little ball. And just take a moment of gratitude. Tune into that frequency of gratitude, of thankfulness, and see if there's something that you can identify naturally without thinking that just comes to you that you're grateful for. You can make your way up to seated. Just find a comfortable seat. And I'm just going to share a very short quote from the book I was sharing, Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender. And David Hawkins says in this book, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. All right. I thank you for being here today. Uh, I hope there was something in the practice for everyone. And if you have anything to share, comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, feedback,